Imagine this. You're drawn to a man who embodies the very things you deny in yourself. He's a whirlwind of chaos, a storm of freedom, a mirror reflecting a wild, untamed part of your own psyche. Most women, at some point in their lives, find themselves mesmerized by this kind of man, the one who seems to hold the key to their own hidden desires, the one who promises to unleash their shadow self. They don't realize they're not falling in love with him. They're projecting their unconscious onto a living, breathing symbol. This is the Animus at play. Not the whole Animus, but a fragment, a shadow-infused piece of it, emerging from the depths to demand recognition. This isn't about the charming prince from a fairy tale. It's about the rogue, the wanderer, the one who seems to possess a power you believe you lack. He's the embodiment of your own unlived potential, the part of you that wants to break free from the cage of expectation and conformity. You see his reckless abandon and mistake it for courage. You see his emotional unavailability and misinterpret it as a fascinating mystery to be solved. What you're really seeing is the unintegrated shadow of your own masculine principle. The Animus, the inner masculine archetype, isn't just about logic or action. It's the very force of purpose and direction. When it's wounded or suppressed, it manifests in distorted ways, drawing you to men who are reflections of that very wound. The woman who finds herself perpetually drawn to the bad boy or the emotionally distant man isn't just unlucky in love. She is unconsciously seeking to resolve an inner conflict. Her unintegrated animus is crying out for attention, and it will use these men as proxies. They become the stage upon which her inner drama is acted out. She'll try to fix him, to save him, to prove her worth by conquering his emotional fortress. What she's really trying to do is to heal her own wounded soul, to integrate her own shadow and reclaim her personal power. It's a futile and exhausting dance, born from a place of deep, unacknowledged need. This dance is a testament to the fact that you can't build a stable external life on a shaky internal foundation. Your choice of partner is never just a random event. It is a psychological barometer of your own inner state. When you are a woman of unexamined worth, you will tolerate what you unconsciously believe you deserve. You'll confuse a man's detachment for strength and your own desperate pursuit for love. This isn't a judgment, it's an observation born from the deep well of human psychology. It's the story of a woman who has yet to confront her own ego projection. She projects her own idealized version of herself or her shadow self onto another, then blames him when he fails to live up to the fantasy. The work, then, is not to change him. The work is to turn inward. Seneca spoke of the necessity of self-examination, of knowing oneself to be free. The man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. Likewise, the woman who chases external validation suffers a pain that could be avoided. The pain she feels is the friction between her idealized fantasy and the stark reality of the man before her. She believes he holds the key to her happiness, her security, her freedom. But the Stoic knows that true freedom is an inside job. It is the liberation from the need for external approval, from the frantic search for a man to complete you. The emotionally charged behavior that erupts in these relationships, the tears, the anger, the obsessive thinking, is not a sign of love, but of a deep psychological conflict. It is the clash between the conscious desire for a healthy partnership and the unconscious need to resolve an old wound. It's the inner child, the puer aeternus, or puella aeterna archetype, refusing to grow up, clinging to a fantasy of being rescued. The path to empowerment is to witness this behavior without judgment, to understand its root, and to recognize that the man you are so desperately chasing is merely a stand-in for the part of yourself you have abandoned. The true animus is not a man to be found, but a force within to be integrated, a wellspring of purpose, logic, and decisive action that can be channeled toward building your own life, independent of any man. This is where the real work of individuation begins. That inner child, the unhealed wound, whispers to you that your worth is external. It tells you that you are lovable only if a man loves you. It tells you that his validation is the proof you need to exist. This is the shadow self, the part of you that holds the fears, the insecurities, and the pain you've tried to bury. And until you face it, it will continue to dictate the men you choose and the relationships you tolerate. The man who is emotionally unavailable isn't a challenge to be won. He is a mirror reflecting your own fear of intimacy, your own belief that you are not worthy of a deep, unconditional connection. He is the physical manifestation of the emotional distance you've kept with yourself. The true work of transformation is not a quick fix or a new dating strategy. It is a descent. It is the brave act of going down into the underworld of your own psyche, shining a light on the unloved and rejected parts of yourself. This is 5. Shadow work. It is confronting the painful memories, the self-limiting beliefs, and the ways in which you have betrayed your own soul. The pain you feel in a toxic relationship is often not a new pain, but the echo of an old one. It is the rejection from a distant father, the abandonment from a neglectful caregiver, the feeling of not being enough, resurfacing through the actions of a man who is a perfect stand-in for that original wound. The great Stoic, Marcus Aurelius, understood this inner citadel. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the crux of female empowerment in the Jungian sense. It is the realization that your power doesn't lie in controlling a man, but in mastering yourself. You are not a passive observer in your own life. You are the architect of your reality. The men you attract are not random occurrences. They are responses to your energetic frequency. A woman who is whole and integrated, who has done the deep work of self-love and shadow integration, will naturally repel men who are emotionally stunted or psychologically wounded. She becomes a different kind of magnet. Her energy shifts from a frequency of need and lack to one of abundance and self-possession. The quest for a man to complete you is a fool's errand. It is a betrayal of the self. The authentic Animus, the integrated inner masculine, is the part of you that says, "I can provide for myself. I can protect myself. I can build my own life." This Animus doesn't need a man to validate its strength. Instead, it works in harmony with the anima, the inner feminine principle, which embodies intuition, receptivity, and emotional depth. When these two forces are in balance, the woman becomes a force of nature. She is both grounded and fluid, capable of decisive action and intuitive understanding. She knows when to build and when to rest, when to pursue and when to allow. The man who is drawn to this kind of woman is not drawn to her need, he is drawn to her radiance. He is not a project, he is a partner. This relationship is not a drama to be acted out, but a dance to be shared between two whole sovereign beings. The woman who is truly empowered does not chase, she attracts. She has done the painful, glorious work of confronting her shadow, of integrating her animus, and of owning her worth. She understands, as Epictetus taught, that some things are within her control and some are not. A man's behavior is not within her control, but her response, her self-respect, and her commitment to her own well-being are. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom from needing another person to define you. It is the courage to be alone, to be complete, to stand in your own power, and to know that you are already the person you have been searching for. The shadow is no longer a place of fear, but a wellspring of untapped power waiting to be reclaimed. The journey from chasing to choosing is the heroic journey of the feminine soul. It is the departure from a life dictated by external forces, the approval of a man, the opinions of society, and the conscious decision to return to your own sacred center. The woman who begins to do this work starts to notice things. She notices the men who once felt so magnetic now feel empty. Their emotional games and fleeting promises no longer hold the same allure. The chaos they bring feels not like an exciting adventure, but a disturbance to her hard-won inner peace. This is the sign that her animus is becoming integrated. The scattered fragments of her masculine principle are no longer projected onto external objects, but are being reabsorbed into her own being, providing her with a new sense of direction and purpose. She finds herself no longer needing to be rescued, because she has become her own rescuer. The damsel in distress archetype, the one that lives for a knight in shining armor, begins to dissolve. She learns that her true power isn't in her helplessness, but in her competence and resilience. She learns to build her own kingdom, not to wait for a man to invite her into his. This is the profound shift from a state of dependence to a state of sovereignty. She understands that a partner should be an addition to her life, not the foundation of it. This is the very essence of self-worth psychology, the understanding that your value is intrinsic, not something to be earned. It is a state of being that is independent of your relationship status, your job title, or your bank account. The woman who knows her worth does not need a man to validate her beauty or her intelligence. She knows these things about herself because she has spent the time looking inward, not outward. She has seen her own shadow and made peace with it. She knows her flaws and loves them as much as she loves her strengths. This radical self-acceptance is the most powerful attraction dynamic of all. The men who are now drawn to her are different. They are not drawn to her neediness, but to her wholeness. They don't see her as a problem to be fixed, but as a person to be respected. They are not captivated by her drama, but by her peace. These men are often more psychologically mature themselves, ready for a partnership based on mutual respect and genuine connection, not on the codependent dynamics of a wounded ego. This is a reflection of her own internal state. Like attracts like, but not in the superficial sense. It is the deep psychological resonance of two individuals who have done the work. The pursuit of an externally focused life, the relentless search for the perfect partner, the perfect job, the perfect body, is a form of escape. It is an attempt to outrun the difficult truths of your own inner world. But as the Stoics remind us, you can escape a man, but you can never escape yourself. The only true path to freedom is to turn and face the self you have been running from. The woman who does this finds not a monster, but a treasure. She finds her own strength, her own purpose, her own profound capacity for love and joy, which was there all along, hidden beneath the layers of expectation and fear. She finds that the anima, her inner feminine, can finally be free to express itself fully. It is no longer repressed by a fearful animus that believes it must control and dominate. Instead, the two work in harmony. The animus provides a strong container, the purpose, the boundaries, the direction, while the anima provides the flow, the creativity, the emotional depth. This is a powerful union within, a sacred marriage that prepares her for a sacred relationship without. It is the end of the chase and the beginning of a life lived by choice. This profound internal union, this sacred marriage of the animus and anima, is not a final destination, but a continuous process of becoming. The woman who has begun this work understands that her relationship with herself is the most important one she will ever have. She has learned that a man is not the source of her happiness, but a witness to it. He is not a solution to her problems, but a companion on her journey. She no longer seeks a rescuer, but a peer. This shift in perspective is the ultimate act of self-love and the foundation of a truly empowered life. The concept of love itself transforms. It is no longer about need and desperation, but about generosity and respect. The woman who is whole can give love freely because her own cup is already full. She is not seeking to fill a void, she is seeking to share her abundance. This kind of love is not a transaction, but an expression of her integrated self. It is a love that does not demand or control, but rather elevates and supports. It is a love that is rooted in freedom, not in fear. This is the freedom that the Stoics championed. The freedom from the tyranny of external opinion, from the tumultuous waves of emotional dependency. Marcus Aurelius spoke of the necessity of self-possession, of guarding your inner citadel from the attacks of the external world. For the woman on this journey, the external world is not just other people, but the cultural narratives that tell her she is incomplete without a man. She learns to become deaf to these voices, to trust her own inner compass, and to define her own reality. The final stage of this process is not about finding the perfect man, it is about becoming the perfect woman for herself. It is the realization that the archetypal figures she once projected onto others, the hero, the king, the warrior, are all forces within her own psyche, waiting to be accessed. The hero is her courage to face her fears. The king is her ability to lead and govern her own life. The warrior is her strength to protect her boundaries and her peace. She no longer needs to find a man who embodies these qualities. She knows that she already has them within herself. And so, she stops chasing. She stops the frantic pursuit, the obsessive checking of her phone, the desperate attempts to make a man see her worth. She stands still, she breathes. She turns her attention inward, to the kingdom she has built within her soul. The paradox of attraction is that it is often when you stop looking for something that you find it. When you become a woman who is complete in herself, you become a powerful magnet, not for need, but for mutual desire. Not for drama, but for peace. Not for a man to save you, but for a partner to walk alongside you. This is the culmination of all the work, the shadow, the animus, the archetypes coming together to form a woman who is powerful, peaceful, and profoundly free. The woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, she chooses.